How's it going, everyone? My name is LT McMillan. I'm the digital marketing specialist here at Paladin, and today I'm super excited to go over a bunch of digital marketing stuff with you guys. We're gonna wait a little bit longer, let some more people file in just in case anybody's running late. If you guys wouldn't, just to make sure that you guys can hear me, if you guys want to put in the question, I can hear you, or raise your hand or something like that to make sure this audio is working. That would be great. Awesome. Sweet. Okay, well, thank you guys so much for joining, and I'm glad that you guys put in questions because that means you guys know how to use the question function because we're definitely going to be using that today. I wanted to make this as interactive and as helpful as possible. And with social media, a lot of it can be very broad, but a lot of it can also be very specific. So today we're going to be using some specific examples and some broad examples to kind of go over the best way to use social media and the best way at the end of the day to sell more products and to sell more stuff with social media. So if you guys are ready, we'll go ahead and get started. Okay, so what we're going to be learning today, we're going to do an overview of some social media platforms. We're going to go over who is on social media. We're also going to specifically talk more about Facebook and Instagram than we are some of the other social medias because that's the most obvious one that people tend to use, and it has the biggest user base. So we're going to go over how to use organic Facebook, how to use Facebook ads, and some tips and tricks there, and Facebook service and automation. And as always, during this entire thing, if you have any questions, please, we'll do a question and answer section at the end, but if you have any questions, please feel free to put them in the question section. I'd be more than happy to answer them. All right, so overview of social media platforms is essentially who is on these different platforms and what you can expect their general behavior to be. So the first one is Facebook. Facebook is how people connect with their friends and family. You have Instagram, this is how people connect with celebrities. You have Twitter, which is typically how people find their news. You have LinkedIn, which is how people connect with their coworkers. And you have Pinterest, which is how people find ideas. Understanding how each platform is used is going to give you a leg up in how you should be presenting content within these platforms. For instance, if you're using Facebook, your wording, your goal there is to be building a community and connecting with people as if they're your friends and family. Whereas if you're using Twitter, it's more giving out news, giving out information. The lifespan of a tweet is much shorter than the lifespan of a Facebook ad or a Facebook post, excuse me. So this is essentially how people are logging, when they're logged onto these platforms, this is how they're using them. Specifically with Facebook, people don't tend to connect with celebrities as much as they do with their friends and family. So a lot of the stuff that's on Facebook is a lot more personal. It's a lot more, this is what I'm doing. This is my projects, for instance. This is my DIY stuff. There's a lot of DIY type stuff on Facebook, which is, especially for hardware stores, is a great place for you to be because a lot of people are showing all of the things that they're doing to their friends and family, and a lot of that stuff, especially in today's climate, is DIY stuff. So who is on social media? Currently, there's 3.5 billion people on social media. 68% of them are on Facebook. Surprisingly, 48% of baby boomers use social media. Now, I'm going to stop here because there's one thing that I want to mention about social media. That's a great way how I first started to understand it in terms of the type of people that are on it. People will always follow where the baby pictures are. So grandparents, parents, they all want friends, they all want to see pictures of other people's families and other people's kids, especially the grandparents. And so typically what you'll see is whatever social media platform parents are posting pictures of their babies on, the grandparents and the baby boomers in that older generation will follow to that platform. Facebook was the big one, so a lot of grandparents came over to Facebook, and now they're going to Instagram for that same exact reason. So just because you might not be on social media, or people you know might not be on social media. It doesn't mean that there aren't people on social media, and specifically Facebook. It says 48% of baby boomers use social media. And this isn't just have an account on social media, this is active users. The average daily use is 3 hours. 73% of marketers think social media ads are effective. That number really should be higher. They could be the best form of advertising that's ever existed, but that's just my personal opinion, that's not fact. And 54% of people use social media to research products. So what are we going to cover specifically today? We're going to cover the 3 different types of ways that you can use social media. There's organic, which is how to build and grow a community. There's paid, which is how to increase sales and brand awareness using ads. And then there's support, which is how to connect with your customers. Each of these 3 are very integral parts to using social media effectively, and it's best to use all 3. You can obviously just use organic, or just use paid, or just use it for support, but you're really not going to be getting the full benefit of having a social media account and being active on social media unless you're using all 3 of these. So the first one we're going to start with is organic. So what's the purpose of organic Facebook page? The purpose is to gain a following and build a community. Specifically with Facebook, the whole point of having a Facebook page shouldn't be just to blast a bunch of billboard ads. It should be to grow a following and a community. Let me give you a great example of this. So looking at, for instance, the Home Depot Facebook page, they do a great job of this. As you can see, 5 million people like this Facebook page, which means the Home Depot has a potential audience of 5 million people that they can reach every time they make a post. Now, you could just post a bunch of ads and that potentially could work, but the goal shouldn't be just to post ads all the time. The goal should be to get people engaged with you. When you provide valuable content, especially in the form of posts like this one at the top, which is how to make birdhouses using some homemade milk cartons and some string, this kind of content, as you can see, is 273 comments and 183 shares. This is an engaging type of content. This type of content will get comments, will get likes, will get shares, and the goal of that is to build a community in that comment section. It's people sharing ideas. It's people showing this is the way that I did this. This is how I did a little bit different. But the whole goal around it is that you're building a community around, in this case, DIY projects, that then when people are looking for the materials to do those DIY projects, your store will be top of mind. Not only will your store be top of mind, but they'll feel loyalty to your store because they feel like they're part of the community that your store has created. It's all about building a community. Another example we have here is Lowe's. They also do a really good job of this. Again, 4.5 million people follow Lowe's. Same thing here. Lowe's does more video than Home Depot does. But again, this is showing the community. These are the type of people you as a company are trying to show. These are the type of people that visit our store. This is the type of community that we're trying to build. And all of this stuff is available at our store if you want to come join this great DIY community that we have. So how many times should you post? I get this question a lot, especially when I'm doing consultations for people for building their social media. Ideally, you would like to post 2 to 3 times a day, but you should at least be posting once a day. Even if it's just something small like a question or just a picture of a new product, or it doesn't have to be really like incredibly well thought out. It just has to be something that's engaging. Questions do a great job of this. For instance, something like what's the DIY project that you're doing this weekend? Or something like, what's your favorite thing to grill? What's your favorite thing to throw on the barbecue on a Saturday afternoon? Questions like that will drive content and drive engagement, and again, build that community within your page. When should you post? This is another question that we get asked a lot. The best times to post really depend on the person that you're targeting and the age group that you're targeting. But typically lunchtime and dinner time, around those times are the best. Just after lunch, just after dinner in your area. So that's 1 o'clock and then 6-ish, 7-ish o'clock at night. Those are typically the best because that's when people are relaxed and playing on their phone. They're looking at Facebook. They're also typically in the mood to engage with more content. They're thinking about whether it's the weekend that's coming up, or they're thinking about the day that they just had, or what they're planning on doing the next day. But usually you have their full attention at that time. All right, so next we're gonna go, some other organic examples that I have from Home Depot that I really liked. Like just simple DIY posts like this. Again, this one has 618 comments. This one had 421, 194 shares on this. And it's just a picture of a box of kids playing with a box. Again, this whole point is we're gonna drive this community. Hey, look at all the fun things that you can do with just some cardboard boxes. It's not necessarily saying, hey, come buy this paint, or hey, come buy this box. It's here's what you can do with the box. Things like that help drive the community. Facebook likes it a lot more. In order to use Facebook effectively, you have to play by Facebook's rules, and Facebook likes it when you do this type of community content. So you're going to get a lot more organic reach. Okay, next one, we're gonna go over some paid traffic, how to use Facebook ads. Now, this is really the crux of what makes Facebook so great, especially if you're in to marketing, or you're looking for new marketing channels, or a better way to spend the marketing dollars that you have allocated. So what's the purpose of Facebook ads? The purpose of Facebook ads is to showcase your products and build brand awareness. So how much should you spend? This is a question we also get a lot when it comes to paid advertising. You can spend honestly as much as you want. The minimum that you have to spend is $5 per day. So for 30 days, roughly a month, that's only $150 in 1 month. So this is where I need your guys' help, because we're gonna do a little experiment here. Right here, I have a Facebook ads page, and we'll have KBA articles, knowledge-based articles on how to set all of this up. But I thought it would be fun to get some of your guys' cities, your guys' locations, and see what kind of audience you can potentially reach and how much it would cost to reach that. For instance, let's take this one. Let's set this at a minimum, so $5. So daily budget $5. We have a great store, Josh, over at Tightwad in Prineville, which is right near us. He helped me a ton setting up this presentation, and I was able to pick his brain with some questions. So I'll start with him. But so he lives in a small town just outside of Bend called Prineville. So we set the location to 10-mile radius around Prineville. We're looking at customers that are 18 to 65. And specifically, these are people who match home improvement or DIY projects. That's what they're interested in. They follow those type of pages. They engage with that type of content. For $5 a day, potentially, he could reach 320 to 924 people and expect between 6 to 22 landing page views. That's a ton of reach for not a lot of money. So I thought it would be fun. If you guys want to put it in the comment section, one of your cities or one of your areas, I'd love to pull this up and show you how easy it is to just find an audience that's incredibly targeted and also very, very cost effective. So anyone who want to put their Georgetown, perfect. All right, let's start with that one. So we're just going to edit this real quick. You said Georgetown, Ohio. All right, so if we do a 25-mile radius, even if we make that a little bit smaller, because people tend to drive no more than 15 minutes, you can put your specific address here as well. So Georgetown, Ohio, for $5 a day, you could reach between 589 people and 1,700 people per day for only $5. And if you have and these are not just people in general, these are people who are specifically interested in home improvement and DIY projects. So these are people that are looking for paint, these are people that are looking for wood, these are people that are looking for tools, for drill bits, for all of the stuff that you guys sell as hardware stores. they're specifically interested in that type of material. So if you show them, hey, you're interested in DIY projects, check out this great like drill bits that we have on sale. Things like that is going to drive not only do you know that they're already interested in it, but you guys are in the day-to-day operations. You guys know what people are coming into your store for. You just look at what the history of that month has been and what people are typically interested in, and then you just blast out a Facebook ad for that month saying, hey, it's springtime, in the mood for spring cleaning, check out our sale on storage containers, or check out our sale on garage racks, or whatever you think would sell really well, and you'll drive a ton of engagement. And it's not just people who already know about you, it's people who potentially have never heard of you before. As you can see up here, this has a potential to reach 46,000 people, this is your potential audience that you could reach. Now, unless you already have 46,000 people coming into your store, this would be a great way to find potential customers. Cool. All right. So now that we've got that, we're going to go on to paid audience example. I included this as well as the Prineville example. Again, as you can see up here, this has the potential to reach 9,600 people. Not as much as Georgetown, Ohio, but Prineville is a small, very much a smaller city. That's a lot of people to reach in Prineville. It's just a lot of people to reach in general. And again, this was a $5 per day ad, so that's $150 a month. Very simple, very easy advertising. So the last part of how to use Facebook specifically is service. So service is to support and connect with your customers. So how do you do this? There's 3 ways. There's Facebook Messenger, there's comments, and there's mentions. So the great part about Facebook is it's turning into email, essentially. A lot of people are going straight to Facebook Messenger and straight to Facebook pages to ask general questions, like, as opposed to calling. They want to ask, like, what time are you guys open? Do you guys have this product in stock? Questions like that. So I wanted to show another example of this. Just pull it up real quick. Okay. Oops, wrong page. Okay, so this is a Facebook Messenger center. So essentially all of your messages and all of your comments, all of that stuff are located within this hub. So from here, you can see comments from Facebook, comments from Instagram. This is a fake hardware page that I set up specifically for this because I wanted to show you how cool the power of this Facebook is. So if we view this as a visitor, you're able to set up automation so that if someone clicks, for instance, send a message. Oh, I already sent myself a message, so this might not actually work. Oh, well, sorry about that. Let me go back to the inbox. Basically what you can do, sorry about that, I thought that would work, but I guess it didn't. Basically what you're able to do is set up frequently asked questions. So for instance, in this case, we set up, what are your hours? If they were to ask that, I can automatically respond with the hours. So in my case, I said that the hours were 9 to 5. Let's see if I can get it to pop up. No, okay. So essentially what it does is the question prompt right here comes up that says, what are your hours? Underneath that, I have an automated response which says, hey, and then it automatically puts the first name of the recipient. We are open from 9 to 7 Monday through Saturday. So as opposed to you having to worry about actually answering the messages, you can set up automated questions of your most frequently asked questions. You'll also see anything that someone has asked within your messages section. So you'll have all of your messages, both from Facebook and Instagram direct messages, here. As well as you'll also see all of your comments and all of your interactions here. So if someone were to comment on one of your posts, you would see all of those comments underneath there and you'll be able to respond to them. So for instance, in the Home Depot example with the milk carton lantern. If someone asked what kind of materials are used for this, if they were to comment under that, you would see that in this section as well. So it's very, very, very easy, very simple to manage and message all of those conversations. You're also able to, if this conversation is done, you can click over here, you can move it to done to keep your inbox clean. And then you can see here all of the ones that are, all the conversations that have been done. And then these ones would be all of the ones that were open. I didn't have enough time to write myself a ton of fake messages, so I apologize that there aren't a lot here. Hold on just a second. What type of questions would you recommend for the frequently asked portion? That's a great question. It really kind of depends on your story. If there's specific questions that you're getting a lot, I personally don't own a hardware store, so this is a little bit hard for me to answer. But it really kind of depends on, just remember the last like 15 or 20 phone calls that you've gotten, are they the same basic question? Typically the best ones are hours. What are your hours? What's your phone number? Are you open on X holiday? If a holiday is coming up, for instance, Memorial Day is coming up. If you were to put in your, for the next couple of days up until Memorial Day, if you were to put, one of your questions was, are you open on Memorial Day? And then your automated answer would be yes or no. That's a good one to set up. Things like that. But it really kind of depends on you and your store. You can also set up questions for specific, you can also set up automated messages that don't have to do with specific questions. So for instance, you can also just set up an automated response. So for instance, after any message, if someone doesn't ask a specific question, after any message, someone, you can say, so for instance, if they don't click a specific question, they ask something more generic, like, do you sell this power tool? You can have an automated message that says, hey, thanks for your question. We'll have someone reach out to you as soon as possible, so that they know that that you got the message and it should be reaching out. You can also have away messages like this one, which says, hey, thanks for your message. We're away right now. We're away and can't respond. We appreciate you reaching out. Well, you could add, we'll get back in touch first thing tomorrow. For instance, if they send a message after you're closed or something like that, or if it was a holiday, things like that. You can also set up automated reminders. If someone were to set up an appointment, I don't know how necessarily useful this is with this industry, but if you do have if you have appointments or you're you have a big client coming in, you can have appointments here as well. All right, so moving on. Again, this is just a screenshot of kind of what it looks like before it's clean. Oh, actually, one I forgot to mention. Let's see here. No, that's not the right one. One thing I did want to mention is that you'll also see your notifications for your page up here as well. So any notifications that you get will be up here. So likes, you'll also see likes and comments and all that stuff up here as well. So just another reminder that you've got something going on. Okay. Okay, question and answer. So I see a bunch of questions in here real quick. I'm just gonna see if I can. Okay, cool. Is it better to target a small mile radius with several distinct locations or one location with a large radius? That's a great question. Again, this depends on your community and where you live and I would look at how many hardware stores are potentially within your area and how far people typically like to drive in your area. I know for Bend, if you ask anybody in Bend how far something is, the typical answer is 15 minutes. If you say, hey, how long does it take to get to this location? Just about everybody in Bend says 15 minutes, which means that typically people are willing to drive about 15 minutes to get anywhere. Okay, so in that case, I would pick your store as the center. Let me see if I can pull this up. Because you can here, as opposed to a general, location. Let's see, you can do, as opposed to a general location, you can do a specific address. So I would do your specific address with a 15-mile radius around it is where I would start. If you're seeing that you're getting a lot of, if you're seeing that your ad isn't performing well, you can either make, because there's too many people seeing it, but not enough people clicking, you can shrink that. You can also make it bigger if you're just not getting enough awareness. But I would typically start with 15-mile radius and then move from there. What's a time-effective way to keep up with the changes in algorithms for Facebook and Instagram? That's another great question. Okay. Best way to keep up with the changes in the algorithms for Facebook and Instagram. If you want to get really nerdy about it, obviously just doing a lot of research into it. But to keep it very simple and very high level, the easiest way to keep up with the algorithm changes is to understand what the purpose of what Facebook thinks about their platform and the purpose of what Instagram thinks about their platform. As long as you're practicing good, as long as you're publishing good quality content and you're not trying to do any underhanded maneuvers, you'll be totally fine. If you're posting good content that engages with your audience, that's not clickbait, that's not sensational, you'll be totally fine. And honestly, if anything, the algorithm changes are going to help you. There's obviously small things that you would want to keep up on, but for the majority of people, I would say just making sure you're posting high quality content that engages your audience is going to help you more than anything. Some of the more nitty gritty things like hashtag research and things like that, there's a lot of really good publications and articles. Search engine journals are a really good one for stuff like that. You can also specifically follow Facebook's Facebook page, and then Facebook's website also publishes all of their updates and algorithms, things like that. But like I said, for the majority of people, just making sure you're posting high quality content that's engaging with your audience. Honestly, engaging content more than anything, asking questions and trying to get answers is going to be your best bet. Cool. All right, is there any other questions? Nope. Okay, cool. All right. Well, thank you guys so much for joining the webinar. I hope it was informative. This is my first time ever doing a webinar, so I apologize if it was hard to follow. If you guys have any questions, my name is LT. Actually, let me, we have speaking of that, we have our 2019-2020 release guide in the portal. Sorry, that messed up. Anyway, my name is LT. You can reach me at ltm@paladinpos.com. That's ELTYM@paladinpos.com. If you guys have any further questions, more than happy to help you. Awesome. Thank you guys so much. Have a great day.